Good evening. This is the Select Board meeting for Monday, October 11th, 2025. Call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. We will do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, we will start with open forum. Is anyone here for open forum? Chief Jenkins.
Just a quick second.
Sure.
I was on the agenda for accommodations for my 3 officers, but I'm going to do that at a later date to do a formal presentation with formal accommodations. But about a week or so back, we had a very distressful call with an emotionally disturbed person waving a machete around, and I just want to commend the 3 officers that arrived on scene. They handled it. Their training came in, the de-escalation techniques, and what could have been a real bad situation. Based on their training, that they created a good position for us at that location. So I just wanted to say that real quick. It was Sergeant Flint, Officer Lang, and Officer, be all right? Sergeant Flint, Officer Lang, and Officer Pat O'Brien were the 3 that responded. So I just wanted to get it out there and commend them. There was a story, a press release, but they will be getting formal commendations.
All right. I look forward to it. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we have a joint meeting this evening with the school committee, 6:05. A few more minutes. You have to call that meeting to order and all that kind of good stuff, all right?
Yeah, if the school committee just call the meeting to order.
You want to come on up, whoever's, you got quite a few of you actually here, right? No, you want to sit right where you are? BJ? Dan? Aaron?
Ellen can't be here tonight.
Okay, sorry to hear that.
And you'll want to save a seat for whoever we're interviewing also.
Yeah, I'll grab them.
Yep.
Entertain a motion to open the school committee meeting.
Motion open?
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay.
None.
We are open.
All right, well, good evening, guys.
Evening.
Why don't you give us a little rundown, Dan, you want to process where we're at, how we got here?
Sure.
And what we're doing.
So we originally had 12 individuals apply for the 2 open positions, which was great. 2 individuals dropped out due to circumstances. So we then conducted 15-minute interviews with each of the 10 candidates, and the committee narrowed it down to 3 finalists. We voted and had a point system, and so then the top 2 candidates who received the most points are here tonight to meet with you, and we're recommending that they be appointed to the open terms.
Okay, great. And those terms for those is, are they 1 year, both of them, Chad, you know?
As Rebecca and I were just talking about that, what would happen is that these individuals, they would have terms that would expire at the next town election.
Okay.
Then, depending on the timing, they might be certain, they could run, depending on which seat they have, a 1 or 2 or 3 year term. Some of these are going to, the 3-year term will expire in 16, some of them 26, some of them would have been in 27, some in 28.
Yep, okay.
So when you say next election, you don't mean this one at the end of this year,
No,
correct?
May.
Okay.
May 17th.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
So, just for clarification's sake, so there's 2 current school committee members that their term is up this May. So would that mean that there would be 4?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, get that clear.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully we get 12 again.
Won't be confusing at all,
Right.
right?
Hopefully some of the people who put their names in and interviewed, we encourage them to run in May.
So how would that process work? I am a little curious.
So each, assuming that one of them is running for a actual seat that would expire in 27, 1 in 28, and then 2 in 29. So there'd be 3 separate headings on the ballot. One for a 1-year term from 26 to 27, one for a 2-year term from 26 to 28, and then people would vote for 2 people to fill the remaining 2 slots, the 26 and 29 term.
Okay. So 3 separate voting categories.
Yeah, they could pick where they wanted to run based on the number of years and service. Okay, great. So I don't want to screw this process up. We're just going to call
Yeah,
both of them, one of
yes.
them.
Call one at a time. I mean, you're really doing one interview at a time.
All right.
Would probably be the best thing.
All right, why don't you guys bring up whoever you want to entertain first?
Leslie, do you want to start?
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Great, how are you all?
Very good. Leslie, I think they just said?
Leslie McDonough.
Leslie, why don't you, while you state your name, why don't you give us a little background and, how you got here and why you want to be here?
Yeah. So I am an educator. I've been in the public school system. It'll be my 20th year this August or the end of the month. I'm also a parent of 2 little ones, Central School. And so to put it quite frankly, I think that my experience as an educator and in the classroom and seeing how the policies of a school committee and budgeting cuts, how that plays out real time within a public school classroom. I've seen it. And then I have skin in the game with my 2 little guys here at the Central School. They're going to be here for a long time, and so I want to do what I can with my expertise to contribute to their school system.
Sure. Still want to thank you for stepping up. It's always
course.
nice to see people come in. Carol, you have any questions? You want to start with you?
Why don't you go to Catherine and let me think of something?
All right. Move over.
I thought we were just appointing, I did not.
No worries. I will always have plenty of questions. So, first of all, I think it's great that you have kids in the school system. I just want to say I went to Central School myself. So, and I have actually an intern working in my office right now, and her biggest thing that she said was she felt like her school committee, she's not from East Bridgewater, she's from Whitman, is, she doesn't really have faces to names. So to have kids that will have faces to names to a name is the most important thing, because I think, you are going to be their biggest advocate. And you understand also, one question I had for you was, you understand like the financial gripe that we're under. I think especially if you have kids in the Central School, you've seen the Central School project come through, and you're also a taxpayer in town, so I'm sure you're very aware. What is your biggest goal and I know this is a big question, but what is your biggest goal to bring to the school committee?
I think there's my value as an educator. So I've seen several different school districts. I've seen local school districts. I've seen larger cities I've worked in. So I think my value is how I know a classroom is run, how schools are run. I know the ins and outs of schools. And so I think my view as an educator, I think, has a value to this committee. And so I think my goal is to just, I really want to do a lot of listening this year, but I also hope that my contributions as an educator would be welcome, because I think I have a voice that I think is pretty unique.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And then one other question I had for you. As an educator, have you, connected with any of the teachers here in town that you've really, come up with some ideas on, for the students yet, or have you kind of held off on that?
So new.
Yeah. No.
So we have a
valid.
kindergartner, first grader, and a pre-Ker. So still new to the teachers in town. I will say, my daughter, her kindergarten year was out of this world.
Yeah.
And she came home reading by December. It was insane.
I think that's like the most,
yeah.
that to me, like being connected with the educators
Yeah.
as well, and you being an educator, you're able to bring that to the table.
Yeah.
I feel like they do really have kind of the biggest voices, but sometimes they like to sit back in the shadows and they don't know where their place should be. So, and I know what you mean when you say you want to sit back and observe. It's kind of what I'm doing, but listening to the people that are in the everyday operation and that you know of, that you've been with, is really the most important part too, because you really hear everything.
And I'm a
what's
mama
going on.
too. Right?
Exactly,
So
right.
it's kind of there's a few different directions to go here too, because I also am an advocate for my kids as
Yep.
students, and so in this role it would be students throughout all of East Bridgewater.
That's awesome. That's all mine.
Ready now.
Ready? Okay.
Yes, I'm ready. I
Carol?
had thought about it for a minute, but because like you, I am a town employee in a different town. And so being an elected official and also a town employee sometimes can be challenging, but also can be enlightening because we see things from both sides. So what do you think will be maybe the things will be easy about that and maybe more difficult about that?
I think that what will be easy is understanding the predicament that educators might find themselves in, administrators might find themselves in. I think it will involve a lot of listening to my community and just understanding that my role isn't a town employee as an educator. My role here would be as a school committee member. And so I think there's a little bit of a part of me would have to turn off as well to see it from a school committee perspective, not from a town employee in another town or whatever my role might be somewhere else.
Yeah, great, thank you.
Great, thank you. I don't really have any questions per se. I mean, between these three gentlemen who I've known for a long time and Ellen Pennington, who's been on the school committee, I think you joined a good force, and their interviews are good enough for me. Their pick is good enough for me for sure. The only thing I would say is obviously having those younger children, obviously know about the Central School Project, so we look for, you to get involved in that level. Again, those kids, we talked about this last meeting we had here, those aren't the kids that are going to fit that project because they'll be moved on by the time it comes in.
My youngest might.
Oh, you okay? Well, that's good then.
Yeah, I was doing some math.
So we're looking for those people that are, that are getting ready or just about to have those.
But it's not all about my kids, right? It's
Yeah,
about
no,
everyone.
absolutely, yeah. So we look forward to the help, and I think that's, it's good to see somebody, like I said, with younger children in that situation. So, great. Shall I have Catherine just, any of you guys actually have a question, or no? And then I'll have Catherine just make a motion to appoint.
Right, and then we'll interview the next person, and you can go through the same thing.
Okay.
And it's a joint
Do we have to appoint
election.
for one term versus the other,
No,
right?
it's not going to matter, because both.
Because they both will expire at the next, okay.
Yes. So what you're doing is you're going, it's a joint vote. Each member of the school committee, each member of the board has a vote. So all those votes get recorded.
Okay.
And Leslie McDonough,
Yes.
correct? Okay.
Yes.
So I'm going to make a motion to appoint Leslie McDonough to the school committee, through the school committee to fill the vacancy for the period of 8/11/2025 through the next town election, 5/17/2026. And is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Second.
Second. All right, motion made and second. Any other discussion? You guys have anything else you want to say? All right, seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, congratulations.
And do you guys want to make
Oh,
your
he's
vote?
got to do
Oh, they
his.
got to do this? Okay,
Aye.
Aye.
Good.
great.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Congratulations, welcome
Thank
to
you.
our government.
Congrats.
Oh, sorry, we're ready to go. Wow.
You know her?
Damn, I've met her around once or twice, sure. But for the record, would you state your name and?
My name is Crystal Hudson. I have 3 children in the school system, and I've lived in town for 20 years or so. I was a student through the East Bridgewater school systems, and now I have an opportunity where I get to sit on the school committee. So I'm bringing my experience from finance committee to this opportunity.
Thank you.
Sure, go
All
ahead.
right.
Me again. I'm so excited. First of all, it's great to see you again. This is honestly, it's so nice to put a familiar face here with this role, and also having kids that are in the school system and having grown up in the school system. I think you're going to bring a unique perspective to the board, to this committee. I guess. Let's see. One question that I have for you is. So since you've seen the change of where you went to school, my mom went to school too in East Bridgewater. I know you went to school in East Bridgewater too, right? I think
A few years ago,
a lot of
yes.
people in this room may have gone to school in East Bridgewater, but
Kids did.
from you have gone to school in East Bridgewater, what do you think is the best growth that you have seen from your time in East Bridgewater to now with your kids in school?
Trying to think back of when I was.
No, you're good.
I was a student.
You're
Wasn't that
good.
long ago.
The improvements that we're making with each school, I think those are some things to highlight. When I was actually hate to date myself here, but I'm going to do it. So I was one of the first students in the Mitchell Middle School expansion. I was in 8th grade and got to graduate in the new auditorium there at that point. The new high school, junior, senior high school that we have now is it's got so much in that building that versus what the old high school had. So I think that the facilities are moving in the right direction in terms of including everyone that's going there, making room for
I think that's been one of the best discussions that we've had with the Central School Project, is having this building that's going to be another center, community hub, and that's really been a huge part of the conversation. So I agree with you. I know the Central School kind of, was that center in town when you're driving in, but still having the ability to now have a building that you will have access to, and it is a safe building, and be able to have events there for the community is huge. So I agree with you on that. And then my mom graduated from the old high school too, and we all know how that was. So I agree with you. And then another question I have is, just kind of like I asked Leslie, what is the best thing you want to bring to, what are you bringing to the school committee? What is your biggest goal for the school committee?
I had a whole answer back there too, and it's kind of gone. I should.
No, you're good. No worries.
I think it's going to be interesting to go from my perspective of at least the finance committee, where it's all numbers. That's really like what you're seeing, and then now from the school committee side of things, where I get to see like behind the scenes and learn and really see maybe some of like the behind the scenes opportunities that I didn't know about before. It's easy to take a look at like a spreadsheet and a line item and kind of be able to say, well, do we need that, yes or no, or what are my thoughts? But now I'll have a lot more information behind that. So
yeah, I think that's honestly, when you said you're a member of the finance committee, I think that is one of the biggest things that you'll be able to bring to the table. Also, having been a student here and having students in the system, because I think understanding the financial situation that we're in, you're able to weigh out, what is necessary versus also, the cost predicament that we are in. So I do think that gives you a great perspective to be in. So I'm excited.
Great, thank you. Carol.
Hi. I'm so happy to see you here, because you and I have talked about this before, and you know my long-term goals for you and for you to be at this table. So this is a step in the right direction. So maybe you could just expand a little bit on how you think your perspective from the finance committee is going to translate, because this is very different right now. You have a bigger committee to work with. You and Dan work together on FinCom, but how do you see that as being, an asset? And then is there any part of that you see as maybe being a detriment?
So the detriment would be that assuming that I'm going into this with some knowledge. So things can always come up and change. So I'll have to be flexible there. But what I can bring is, at least for the budget side of the school committee, I'll be able to, at least, it's going to be kind of a somewhat familiar process in terms of budget season and things like that.
One less thing to have to learn.
What at least to expect and when town meeting comes and things like that. But I think that it's just going to be a good opportunity to get to know the depths of school committee versus finance committee. Finance committee, you look at the whole town and it's very broad, and maybe you get to be a liaison. I did have the opportunity to be a liaison to school committees, so I have a little bit of knowledge in terms of things like revolving accounts and stuff like that, but
that's good.
This will give me a little bit more of an idea and to see details and things like that. So.
Yeah, great, thank you.
More to learn.
Crystal. So, yep, me and Crystal have some history. Been worked together, played together, and all kinds of good stuff. I'm really happy to see you in this position. I think it's like Carol said, it's a good spot for you to land in at this particular time to help us as a board and help us as a town, especially in the financial crutches we have. Before I forget, Jen said I had to mention, congratulations for your softball championship.
Thank
Third
you.
year in a row.
Oh, that's right, I
So
saw that,
I had the trophy in the
congratulations.
car, but I thought it would be too much to.
Oh, you
put
could
here, so-
have. Could have done that with open forum.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you,
absolutely.
yep.
Yeah, but, again, like I said, I think it'll be fun to watch what you do and what you achieve when you sit on that committee with a good committee, really good, we're a firm group and whatnot. So, congratulations, thanks for stepping up as well, and I'll just ask for a motion.
Okay. And Crystal Hudson?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. I gotta make sure I get that right, we don't get in trouble. Let's see, I make a motion to appoint Crystal Hudson to the school committee to fill the vacancy for the period of 8/11/2025 through the next town election, 5/17/2026.
Second.
Motion's made second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, seeing that, congratulations, both of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you.
I will entertain a motion to adjourn the
Motion
school
to
committee.
adjourn.
Oh, we've got,
Think
we
you-
got a lot more stuff to
School
do.
A
projects.
lot more stuff to do?
Lot.
Well,
We got nowhere to go.
Stop.
I'm used to succinctness from Peter.
yeah, and I just didn't know
Well,
what,
if
I
that's
mean,
the case, then
originally, we were also going to
Discussion
try and
about
use
whether
this
or
as
not
an
we can-
opportunity to discuss anything, school town relations projects, anything like that.
Yeah, we're just overview, basically.
Oh,
is what we're
okay.
trying to look through. So,
You wanna come up?
yep. I mean, we just met, what, a few weeks ago? Yeah.
We were together
weeks ago.
last.
we were
Last
last week
week?
for the central school. Yeah, last week.
It wasn't even a
I'm
week
here
ago, it
every-
was Tuesday.
I'm here every week.
Yeah,
DJ, I mean,
then you should know.
yeah. All right, we're here last week.
So, I mean, I think.
Anything happened since last week? No, I mean, honestly, like I said, if you wanted to follow up with anything outside of, obviously we know about Central School and the project and the direction you're going in. If there's any other direction, school starts a few weeks.
Yes, so new teachers start next week, the week of the 18th, and then staff is in on the 25th. They're here for 3 days, and then students start the 28th. They'll be here Thursday, Friday, and then they'll have the long weekend. Get a little acclimated to the new year, take a little break, and then be back.
Right back at it, okay. Guys, anyone have any, I know we, again, met last week,
No,
but is there anything?
This will be your first school year as
Yeah.
in your official role, correct?
Very
So
exciting.
congratulations to
Thank
you
you.
on this. It's extremely well deserved, and you have. I remember being a student at the Central School, and I think you might have been the principal there. So it's awesome to see you in this role. I don't think that there is anybody even comparable to you for this. I think it is so awesome to see you having grown up here, and I'm excited for you to start your new school year. So.
Great, thanks so much.
Yeah.
I said you hang around long enough, you know.
Yeah, right.
Eventually, find a way.
Pick me.
Yeah, yeah.
So I shared with the school committee that I have developed an entry plan for year one, and part of that entry plan is just a lot of listening. I think the one thing that I don't want people to assume is because I've been in the district for over 30 years that it's just going to be status quo. So really it'll be a year of talking with stakeholders. I'll make appointments to meet with Board of Selectmen, town officials, organizations, committees in town. And really I have, 5 standard questions that will be asked, and it's really just, what do people see as the strength of the district? What do people see as areas of needs for improvement? And then we'll develop our district strategic plan, our 5-year plan from there. So, although I've been here and have some history, you know what you know.
Yep.
And I don't want to make any assumptions with that.
Yeah, I think that's very valid, because what I was going to say to you was, it sounds weird to say that you're a breath of fresh air, because you have been here for all that time, but you've never been in this role
Right.
until this
New
time.
lens.
And so I think I see great things for you, and I think you've got a great committee to support you.
I do. I
which
feel very
is
supported.
really key to all of it, so it's good news for all of us.
As a school committee member, and this is a joint meeting, I would at least respectfully request that we all consider at some point the need for a town-wide HR manager, because I think from a lens standpoint, some of the challenges with some of the departments and managing people, which is a full-time job, takes away from what maybe their strengths are in pushing their individual departments forward. So as a town member, as a school committee member, as somebody who's been a part of the town, I think that there's opportunities, even in a downward budgetary cycle, which we're certainly in, to find avenues to make sure that we take care of the human capital side of it. The employees of the town are our most important they're certainly, if not the most important, one of the most important parts of the community and of the town. And I think that it would be beneficial for them to have a truly dedicated kind of HR role within the town to help manage those types of things. I'll get off my soapbox.
Yeah. No, it's, I agree, I couldn't agree more. I mean, that and you know, a town planner, obviously, we've talked about that for a while, too. It's just the planning aspect of trying to figure out, you know, how those things work and how they'll do it. But I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, we definitely, you know, would like to see something down the line. And not only for the employees that you spoke of, the assets, we'll call them, of the town, which I think everyone feels comfortable with. But I talk all the time about the people we have in positions, especially up here at Town Hall. You know, department heads. We worked really hard to get those positions filled and changed and what have you. So, you know, I think that's another good point to the fact that if we want to keep those people in place, you know, that there's going to be protection there for them, where they feel safe and secure as well. So I appreciate you bringing that up for sure. Charlie, do you have any questions?
I know that Brian's working with you on the Mitchell School where we're doing the schematic work. We've deliberately delayed trying to get to a point of a report or whatever we would be getting simply because we've got Central. But I think once, you know, win or lose in November, once we get past Central, we'll have to go back, work with the architect and the project manager and the MSBA and see where, and obviously the school committee and school administration, see where we're going with Mitchell, because the work that needs to be done there regarding the roof, doors, and windows is an absolute necessity to preserve that building. And in relation, you know, comparison to Central, it's a smaller project. In comparison to anything else, it's a fairly major deal for the work that's going to have to get done. And we're going to have to come back to the townspeople at some point in 2026 to discuss what we can be doing and what we can afford and what needs to be done there.
Can I ask when, like, what has been done with the feasibility study that was voted in the last election, correct?
Right.
I'm sorry, town meeting. The feasibility study, at what stage are we at with that with the Mitchell School? Has anybody come in yet, or?
Yeah, I mean, we have a project manager, we have an architect through the MSBA.
Okay.
It's different with the Central because it's two different types of programs. With this project, the MSBA hires the project manager and the architect. We don't have to go through the process. Yeah, thank you, in this case. And they're the ones examining the building, doing the survey work.
And they've completed that, or no, they
I
have
don't-
not as of
We have a
yet?
draft.
Okay, a draft.
Also.
Okay.
Yeah. So to Charlie's point, because it's an accelerated repair as opposed to a new building or an ad reno, the MSBA does a lot of that legwork in making sure that we have the people in place. Brian Kiley's been doing a lot of the communication, organizing them to be on site to, you know, do their assessments. They were looking for us, you know, to consider going to the town in the fall. To Charlie's point, we don't want to complicate things anymore by having two projects simultaneously. Certainly Central School is more of a priority for us. However, equally important, we did partner with MSBA, so we are held accountable to only extending the timeline so long before we have to move forward and get that reimbursement from them.
Okay. And what is that, do you have that timeline from MSBA, or is
So
it
we'd be
more
looking
Brian?
at probably around January, we'd be
Okay.
looking for a special town meeting for the accelerated repair.
Okay.
Great. Becca, anything?
Nope.
Good, all right. The only thing, before I forget, I did meet with, just so you know, John Haynes last week at the middle school. There's been a small issue with Tony Lapine, the bench we dedicated some years ago for his daughter. It's sinking on one side. So he'll be in, he'll contact, I'm sure Brian will contact you guys to let you know he's going to put something in there to try to level that off, whatnot, just so you know, because somebody might say something to you.
And along the lines of the partnership between the town and the schools, that is probably an area that I need to be more educated in as to how the school district works with the DPW, the facilities director, where the jurisdiction is. I know there's been agreements that have been formed over the years, so I just need a better understanding of, when Brian Kiley is involved with something versus when our custodians or an outside vendor is. So
Yeah, I think sure Charlie could set some sort of meeting up there to try to work through those points and find out where we're at. No problem. I know where you are. All right, that's it for me. You
Yeah.
guys got anything else? You're all set? No?
I don't think so. I think just, there's a lot of planning has been put in place for the back-to-school
Yep.
activities, and it's going to be an exciting year.
Good.
Look forward to it.
I'm hosting the town department head meeting next week.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll be inviting all the town department heads to come to our welcome back ceremony, so
Awesome.
be on the lookout for that.
Okay,
Great.
all right.
Great.
Thanks.
Hope you have a smooth and easy start to the new school year.
Thank you.
I have one more question. I'm so sorry. It just jaunted to me, and I remembered that somebody asked me to ask because I knew we were meeting with the school committee. One of the things that I've seen, I think it might have been in a couple other towns, but there's been a back-to-school backpack drive. Do you guys have anything set up like that, or has there been any kind of conversation about getting something set up like that? It's just that old backpacks and school supplies that are still in good condition. So seniors that might be not be going to college that had older backpacks and school supplies that they might have. I just wanted to float that idea to you guys while you're all here. I thought it was a good idea that came to me, and I think they brought it to me, but obviously as a select board, we don't have as much oversight as you guys. I know it may be it's late in the game this year with school starting so soon, but it's definitely worth having, I think, a conversation over. I didn't know if there's anything like that already, too.
Say remind us sometime in May next year.
Yeah.
If you want to forward me the information that you
Yeah.
have, even a district that's done it, then certainly we can reach out.
Yeah.
Typically, it's been donations that have come to the schools towards the beginning of the year, and usually just at open house nights, we'll have a table set up, and, what you need is, what you take, but, to have a drive,
Yeah,
to
it was
Ray's
something
point, a little bit of time to plan something like that.
Exactly.
But I'd be happy to take the information.
Yeah, okay, perfect.
One other point of note, I think there's been a certain, what we heard from a lot of the people that we interviewed with regarding the open positions, a lot of them weren't really sure that there were open seats on the school committee prior to Dr. Williams sending something out on Parent Square. So I know we're challenged as a community with how do we get word out to certain. Well, I can tell you, based off of what we heard back, that's a fantastic conduit to kind of communicate to a pretty large population. So I don't know if there's certain things that we can or cannot communicate through Parent Square related to the town, but something like a backpack drive,
Yeah.
certainly we would be able to. But I would just say that Dr. Williams and that side of it has done a really, really good job of communicating outwardly, which is something that I think is desperately needed in the town.
Right. Plus, we've got, 32 electric boards now out there, so we can.
Yeah, I'm very excited about
Middle
the new
school's
one.
got its new one, right?
Middle school.
So we can
I'll-
get that.
I'll
if
know
we
everything
start
that's
using
going
that
on
for
now.
those as well. Yeah, but I agree. The message has got to get out there because I was surprised, and me and Aaron just talked about this on the way in, how many applicants you actually got, which was pleasantly surprised, I should say.
Fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
It was difficult. There was a lot of really good
Yeah.
applicants.
There were.
And you hate turning people away because it's the
Yes.
volunteering for the position
Yeah.
to come in and help out, but, you can also send them to finance and
There are other
planning.
committees that have openings.
Right, lots of them.
Yeah, but to Peter's point, before that Parent Square message went out,
Yep.
there were only 2 applicants.
Right.
After we
Right.
got 10 additional.
Right, great.
That's challenging. There's no local newspaper, and even social media now, I think, has diversified so much that it's hard to know. A lot of people I don't do Facebook anymore, and then you do Instagram, or do you do TikTok?
Right.
It's just really hard to
Yeah,
hit
and-
people
and
at all
I
those
have no problem
places.
using Parent Square. Obviously, one thing for us to check, it only goes out to families who
Right.
have children in the school district, so,
Right, I'm not on Parent Square.
Right.
But my husband is, so.
I believe we have the townwide email as well, but that is, you have to sign up for
Yeah.
that.
Right.
So maybe doing something where we can advocate again, throw up in the sign up for,
I
local
can send that through
news.
Parent Square, how they go about signing up for
Yeah,
my email.
exactly. So that would be something
Well,
we can
no,
definitely get
because
the.
that's still the family.
Tell your neighbor.
But it's still important.
But it gets it
out too.
No,
Yeah,
but it
would
gets
be
it
a way-
out to other them being, like Leslie was I'm sure on Parent Square, but wasn't aware of that before. So it still would reach those
Yeah.
members
Especially
of the
for
community.
school committee. You know,
Right.
That's typically the population that,
Right.
would be
And
most interested.
signing up through the town, they're able to, also if they have children in the town and their families are in the town, they want to be involved. I'm sure there are people that want to be involved in those committees. So maybe, Charlie, if you could send that information, how you can sign up to Dr. Williams, and then also maybe doing a blast on the one of the 700, which and four
I said
electric signs.
35 and say
Yeah. Electric signs in town.
Yes, there's only 3. I was just joking. All right, well, thank you. You guys can
Thank you,
adjourn.
everybody.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
We'll see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck next week.
Thanks.
Sorry, Dan.
Well, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes. Virtually.
All right, so we have an appointment, but in about 10 minutes, so we'll jump on a few of these action items.
Okay. You want me to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Number 1.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the July 14th, 2025, July 28th, 2025, and August 5th, 2025 Select Boards meeting.
I'll second, and there is one correction on the July 14th, Mike Travers. It's Travers, and I didn't see it till today, so I didn't want to send it to you earlier, but it's not Travis, it's Travers.
Okay, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to approve but not release the minutes of the July 14th, 2025, August 5th, 2025 Select Boards executive session meetings.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of the June 14th, 2025 Board of Water Commissioners meeting.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
None.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Make a motion to appoint the following individuals to serve on municipal boards and commissions. Rebecca Johnson as municipal hearing officer effective July 1st, 2025 to June 30th, 2026. Catherine, should I do each?
One at a time, yeah, that's a good idea. Thank you.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Rebecca, you have anything to say? Excited?
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Appreciate it?
Thank you.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to appoint Catherine Wolf to the Historical Commission effective August 11th, 2025 to June 30th, 2028.
Second?
Motion made and second. Discussion? Come on up. No? Yeah, introduce yourself so the
You're
friendly
here,
people
you
at
know we
home
gotta
see
pick on you.
and You can say hello.
Hi, I'm Kathy Wolf, resident of the town for 34 years now. I have history in my blood. I was born in Lexington, so we're in that Revolutionary War period right now. I've been active with a local historical society. I helped during the bicentennial, putting on graveyard tours and scavenger hunts. Anyway, I'm really excited to be able to join the Historical Commission and ensure the continuation of the history of the town, make sure things aren't destroyed that shouldn't be. Perhaps review and improve some of the historical markers we have. And I've gone to 2 of the meetings already, and I fit right in, a bunch of geeks. We all are passionate about the town and the history of the community, and I just am really looking forward to being a part of that group and helping to preserve, for instance, the gravestones that are deteriorating rapidly.
Artwork, we've got a ton of different artifacts and things of that.
We do,
Yeah,
we do.
we need to.
If we can-
Me and John Haynes are talking about this, and I think he may join one of the meetings soon about the potential for finding, a spot. We just kind of kicked around that idea. Him and Brian Kiley were at the
Dale will be thrilled.
community center downstairs, basement area, where they have got maybe an opportunity there, to try to do something. So
Right.
you're coming in a good time. I
Awesome.
think everybody is really excited to see that.
Yeah, to have some of those artifacts available for people to see perhaps once a month would be exciting as well.
Yeah.
Especially now that the library has moved some things out
Yeah.
of,
Yep. out of the spot
view.
there.
Yep.
We'll get you a piece of this building over here as soon as we get rid of it. All right, we've been asking that for forever. But,
Hopefully, we'll be able to find something in the nurse's cottage that we can save
Absolutely.
as a reminder.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mrs.
All right,
Wolf. I
thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Miss Wolf? Miss Wolf? Sorry. You can go to the town clerk's office. The open office.
I make a motion to appoint Sean Willett as an associate member to the Historical Commission effective August 11th, 2025 to June 30th, 2028.
Second.
Motion made in second. Discussion. Is Sean here? Anybody?
That's him.
Come on up, Sean. Your turn to shine.
Hi, folks.
Hi.
My name's Sean Willett. I'm a historic preservation architect, and I've worked on a lot of restoration projects in the last 10 years. I have a passion for history. I think the craftsmanship and kind of the work that our ancestors put into our built environment has never been more important than now. Not a lot of folks, even in my generation, who care that much about the built environment, and I think we have to be the voices for our buildings because they don't have their own. So I've worked on a lot of projects, anything from small historic barns up to national landmark buildings, and I hope that my kind of expertise and advice could be of service to the town. I spent a lot of time here as a child. I was from Braintree, but I spent a lot of time down here with Alice Craig and her daughter Carol Craig Owen, who worked for the town collector's office back in the day. Carol's still here, and it's kind of a nice homecoming for me. So I've been here for about a year and a half and want to do what I can to contribute.
Excellent.
That's great. Real refreshing, especially somebody of your age. You know,
Yeah.
I don't think there's probably, I don't know the age number of
It's
people
all right.
that are
No
on this.
judgment. That's
I'm
right.
being very careful.
That's all right. That's all right. Millennial. We'll say millennial.
Millennial,
How's
Millennials,
that?
yeah.
You know,
This is
there's
great.
There's a wide gamut there.
Yeah, especially
so.
somebody with your expertise and talent in the field that you have. That's
Maybe he
wonderful.
wants the cottage. You want the cottage?
Right, yeah. There's a beautiful yellow
You can have
building
it.
over here that you can
Point your way.
Yeah, right. But no, that's great, and thank you again for stepping up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Guys,
yeah, thank you for stepping up. We need younger voices on these. We need voices in general on these,
Yeah.
but having a younger voice that's
Yeah.
committed and the history that you have already had here is seems
Absolutely.
so.
Terrific.
Motion made and discussed. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you want
Yeah, we got a couple more.
Yeah.
We can
Okay.
sneak in here.
Make a motion to approve education incentive request from the Teamsters Local 653 Library Unit for Michelle Stephen.
Second?
Motion made second. Discussion.
Just that given what the history has been with the select board approving the education incentive, it's not necessary that the individuals receive a library degree. An education degree, for instance, what we're talking about here, fully within what I would think is relatable to their work over at the library, so I'm recommending the approval.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep. Any further questions? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to approve the request from Professional Bartending Service LLC for a one-day liquor license for the center at Sachem Rock for Memorial Gathering on September 6, 2025, from 1 to 5.
Second?
Motion made second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to discuss the request from Henry A. Mitchell to purchase town land, 95 Haywood Road.
And I'm going to
Second.
recommend that the board carry this over until September.
Withdraw my second?
Withdraw your second. Okay. Noted.
Okay. Make a motion to discuss amendment to Mass General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 21C, possible article for SDM Department of Public Works Authority to lease dump trucks.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Discussion.
Sure. When John had his budget approved, we had not known that he had an interest in going through a lease purchase deal for the trucks. We had done something similar for the police department with the police vehicles,
Yep.
and we had a special article at the town meeting for that purpose, because we didn't do one for the dump trucks, because we didn't know that it was the direction we were going to go to. We have to wait until the October meeting to have an article that the town meeting would then approve, giving John permission to go ahead.
Okay.
Are these vehicles that they're already ownership of, and
No.
they're looking to purchase them later, but they want to just set it up so that they can purchase them and,
Or it's a
lease
lease
them and then
purchase,
purchase them?
yeah.
Okay, so you haven't done anything yet. All right, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Excuse me. When is the September meeting? I'm Henry Mitchell, he's.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, it'd be September 8th.
September 8th.
Right, it'd be 4 weeks from today.
Okay. Was it time to discuss it or mention anything?
We don't have a time, but I'll get a time put in the agenda and tell
I'm
you.
saying tonight there wasn't enough time to discuss anything today?
Well, it's simply that I know you still have a matter before the ZBA, and I know that you're working with the Conservation Commission.
Yeah.
And it's probably preferable that we get those matters settled.
Okay.
And I know that the ZBA's meeting before September 8th, I think their meeting's scheduled for September 3rd, for example, so I know that they carried over discussion and decision on your request for a variance.
Yeah, yes. Well, that's why this was part of it, to try to help with all that. Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll hold off from here.
6:46.
Yeah, we're right at the number, so we'll stop back on the action items in a little bit. Right now, we'll start our appointment with the Public Safety Building Committee. Melissa, come on up. How are you doing?
Great, how are you?
Good.
Just gonna change one of these chairs. Brought you guys copies to follow along with? Is
All
that
right, perfect, thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it, buddy.
you guys want?
Not at this point, you can always email me.
Okay, my name's AJ Voisin. I'm a sergeant with the police department here. About 18 months ago, we started the Public Safety Building Committee. I wasn't a part of the creation. I was put in as a police rep and then ultimately voted in as the chair. So in front of you, you'll see the names that we have on the committee. Captain Jeff Kelly is the fire representative. He's the vice chair. And then Karen Gilman is the clerk. She's our finance representative. You'll see that we have 9 members, voting members, and then 2 additional members, which are both chiefs that are non-voting members. So tonight, I'm just hoping to kind of put the public safety building on the radar and give a little background to how we've got to where we are now. We've held about 10 meetings. Quorum has only been met at 5 of them. Later in this little short presentation, I'll go over some things that I think that we can do to help that.
Yep.
So our initial discussion started. The current conditions of each police and fire department facilities were discussed, and where each facility lacks in some areas. The committee's determined the need. Every time we talk about it as a committee, it's unanimous that it's a clear need that the police and fire needs a new building. We've discussed potential locations, focusing mainly on town-owned property, which we know isn't many locations or options. I don't want to bore everybody and get into every single thing we discussed, but the location is a big deal. I know the fire chief's here. It's more of a big deal for the fire department as opposed to us. The fire department has some guidelines they have to meet for response times, which I'm sure most of you guys are aware of. One of the big things that we talked about that was, I don't want to say was my idea, but it's kind of what I'm pushing for. I would love to see this facility not just be a public safety building, but more of a community complex that just happens to house the police and the fire department. I think that we have a lot of holes in some of the aspects of town, whether it be the rec department or with just the recent discussions that I was listening to with like the historical department committee, where housing things. I think that this could be a chance to bring it as a community building and have some small space for other committees or like the rec department to bring a bunch of things together and have a community building. I already went over the location. So the facility use. So the goal is to have the entire police department there, since the location doesn't matter too much on us. Again, the fire department, depending on the location, they'd be looking at using it as a substation,
and/or converting the current fire station into a substation. That's all going to come back to the feasibility study. That's kind of where we're at now. We realize that we might be a little behind the 8 ball, but we've come to the conclusion that we need to get the feasibility study going, or at least start the conversation with some of these companies. What I listed here is, there's 2 companies listed here. The first one's KBA, it's Castle Booze. I think that's how you say it. So we are in discussion with them to try to set up a meeting to go over what they could provide with the feasibility study, as well as Pomeroy Associates, which is an East Bridgewater-based company, which it'd be great to keep it in East Bridgewater, but they haven't, from what I can see, they haven't built an actual public safety building. They've done a couple fire and then a couple police, but never a combined one. KBA just built Hingham's brand new facility, which a few of the members of the committee's been able to tour, which was obviously a gorgeous building, and it was a $50 million building. It was amazing. They're a little bigger than us, but so the third bullet on there is I'm trying to get a third company to at least get some comparisons to. I've reached out to Weston and Sampson. I haven't heard anything. But from recommendations, HKT Architect is another one that built some public safety buildings recently. So what we're hoping to get from the presentations from these companies to determine who we'd like to go forward with is that there's a plan to meet with myself, Brian Kiley, and the 2 chiefs to kind of get an initial baseline, and then bring all those companies to one Public Safety Building Committee meeting, discuss with that, and then vote on which the committee would like to go forward with, and then bring it back to you guys. The last thing that I'd like to bring up is we're having quorum issues. I think that the word I'll use, and you said it 6 days ago, so hopefully he doesn't yell at me for saying it. We're not in the sexy stage, right? Like, this is like the tough stage. So I think that we're having quorum issues just because we're not doing the real good stuff. Yeah. So I don't know if, I'd like to discuss, I don't know the ways that we could add to the committee. I don't know if we're necessarily at that point, but I think that I really need to start thinking about potentially adding 1 to 3. I'm hoping that as it moves forward that we don't continue to have the quorum issues, but I think that I need to have a plan B if it continues, because that's been one of our biggest hurdles. And I think it's a little bit of timing and we were stalled for a few months, and then again, we're not in like the cute phase. So it's not as appealing to everybody, to come in and spend 2 hours here and sitting on a table and talk. But that's kind of all I have. I can answer as many questions as you have.
Sure.
If you have any.
Let's start with the question about the committee discussion, changing. Is there membership, are there particular people that just can't?
Yes, you did.
When we set
Yeah,
up
we
the-
did.
But it's an
Yeah.
ad hoc committee by the board, so the board can change the composition if it wishes to,
Okay.
number of members.
Sorry.
Yeah, so the number of members could be changed for sure, but are there any members on here, AJ, that have, changed?
At this point, I think what you're asking is there like 1 or 2 people that just refuse to come, or
Well, not
it's
just
always
that, but commitments, a change since because this was, again, 18 months ago.
yeah.
right?
So I think it's actually a weird situation where it doesn't seem like it's just 1 or 2 people. It just kind of timing and vacations, and one of the members recently had a kid, and I just think that the 5 number has been kind of tough to get to some meetings.
Yeah.
So again, it hasn't been I would say it hasn't been a major issue, but it's on the radar, because once we start getting into the meat and potatoes and the real meetings, we can't waste the time and not meet quorum.
Yep. My only concern with raising the number would be you would need that.
Quorum goes up.
Right.
So the
we
people
need
that you would appoint need to be the ones who are going to show up.
So my initial thoughts was that, but if we were to go to 12, from 9 to 12, that's 3 people.
Yeah.
Of those 3, I'd only need 1 more to commit to meet quorum.
Oh, okay, all right.
That, it's a thought.
Yeah.
I mean, to the same extent, we could add 1,
Could add a
but then you need that 1 person to show up,
If you go to 12, you'll need 7.
not 6, okay.
Yeah.
So I guess that thought is incorrect.
What
If you go
if
to
we-
11, if you go to 11, you'll
Then
need
it's
7.
so maybe 2 might be the possibility to hope that one of them is,
Right.
I think.
What if we made the chiefs not ex officio, but made them members
I
of?
think you've included them.
they're not, so from what
It
I.
says they're ex officio,
This
so.
is new to me, so from what I understand, they're non-voting members. That's how it's was always addressed to me.
But we could make them voting members, and then they'd count towards the quorum.
I mean, they always show up.
That's right. They're town employees, they're gonna be there.
That was kind of the thing, so, I think there's
Do that.
definitely
Yeah,
been some
I like that.
inhibition. If we could change non-voting members to voting members
Yeah.
would be smart, and then, also, if we're able to add more, then those being, if you guys wanted to, then the ability to pick, we know people that are going to say,
Sure,
hey,
yeah.
this is, this is of interest to you, impose it to people, and then appoint them to the committee. Does that make sense? Like,
But that might solve your problem.
Yeah, but I think that as.
I think changing the
as
chiefs
agencies-
might
yeah,
solve
those
that.
two,
okay,
yeah.
perfect, yeah.
And I know from Central School Committee that you don't have to live in town to be a voting member, because we went through that with the former superintendent, and we got
Yeah.
that all cleared, so
Yep.
that, you could just be a voting member.
All right. Charlie, is that something we could, does that
Right.
sound okay to you? We don't make any changes that you don't think necessary?
No, I think that's a necessary change. I think that with my position and the look on the committee, I think that it's a needed change, and
Right.
I don't see any issue with it.
If
or
you ready to
anybody
accept
else.
that role?
The people on the committee too, though, like, do they still want to be on the committee?
So yes, I've recently, that's been my most recent inquiry to make sure for the ones that I haven't heard.
No designated term, so it could go on.
Right.
Right. So everybody that I've heard from, there's only been one that I haven't heard back from, that I'm trying to reach out a different way. He was very good at showing up initially, just hasn't been the last two meetings. So everyone I've talked to still wants to be on it. I've yet to hear that someone does not want to be on it.
Right.
Do you offer remote participation as well?
So we haven't yet, but that might be the next avenue we have to look into. Yeah, so at the end of the day, with my position as the town employee, it becomes a little tough to do certain things because I'm always downstairs. But that could be changing soon, so.
Well, let's do this.
You
and
can
see
just
how
have
this-
some people. remote,
Right,
and you
right,
don't have to
offer,
do-
yeah.
Like Central School, we tend to do either 100% remote or 100% in person, but there is the option of having it as,
To have
you know,
the Zoom
remote in
or
for some people.
Yeah, we
Skype
have
issue.
to. I think this may.
But this could solve
Yeah,
the
that's
problem.
a great
This
idea.
may solve it. I think that's a good idea to change that. You can make that motion, I'm assuming, right now, Charlie, right? No need?
So would we be appointing them, or would
We
No,
already-
we'll just make them voting members
That's
instead
all
of
I know.
non-voting
okay,
members.
so make the motion to make the, okay. And separately, or do you want to do them to lump them together?
I don't think it matters.
Together's fine.
Yeah,
Okay,
together's fine.
make a motion to appoint the police chief, Michael Jenkins, to the public safety building committee as a voting member, as well as fire chief John DiZallo, as a voting member of the public safety building committee.
Second.
Yeah, that's good. All right, motion made in second. Any further discussion regarding that? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
So we'll start with that, and hopefully that takes care of some of the issues.
Hopefully.
Now, let's just go back to a little bit on the building itself and where you're at. So I did attend one of those meetings. Me and AJ talked quite a bit as well. I was all in on this from the beginning. Think it's a need, especially for both departments, really. And I like the idea, and we discussed this a little bit at the meeting I attended, where the facility would also potentially have other areas of interest to the town, depending on where we can pick it, and depending on how it works for the fire department as well. I think we kicked around the idea maybe even DPW being down there too. I think you can explore those things. But before you do that, I think that feasibility study is going to be crucial in order to take a look at those pieces of property that were indicated at the last meeting that I was at, meeting before your last. You did talk about, you had a grant, you had some money already, Chief, in place. Yeah, were we able to find out if that would be able to be utilized? I think it was what, 40 grand or something like that? $50,000. Yeah,
I'll check again. I mean,
Yeah.
it depends on how the article was worded
Right.
back then. And then worst case comes to worst, it's October.
right.
We have the town
If we
meeting.
have to add to that, or
Yeah, if the
also
article
change
needed
it.
to be changed first maybe to review it, so that.
Yeah, if we have to
It's
make
applicable
changes
with
to
the
the
grant.
article, we
Yeah.
can certainly do it at town meeting if there's something we have to do. And again, it's probably not all of what you'll need to get to that step, but that being said, I think it's, the interview process is the most important to make sure, what you're looking for is exactly what you're gonna get. And, on the point of Weston and Sampson, we know some people from Weston and Sampson pretty well, so
Okay.
we'll get somebody to answer your phone call. for sure. But no, I'll let these guys kind of talk about it, because I sat in on the meeting and we talked quite a bit. I think this is extremely important. Obviously, it's, going to have to be pushed out a little bit with the central school. We certainly don't want to, overwhelm the public with what we're going on. But I think if it's done correctly and the opportunity does come up, I think, especially with our future financial position, I think we're going to be in down the road here. I don't see this being a problem, but I commend you guys for the process that you're putting it through, for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate the update, because I have not been involved with this to this point, but I think that's great. And I do also support your idea of trying to include other things in that building. It helps us to promote it and, for people to see it as a town-wide complex if there are things that sort of naturally fit into what you're doing. I guess my only concern would be that if it's like a substation of the fire department, now we're running like 2 different buildings, and so that you'd have to look at, and I know you will.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
but I like the concept. I like it.
I have a feeling odds are that it's going to be a substation, just based on some of the opportunity for locations and what they're dealing with now. But yeah, we know it's going to come down to the feasibility study and what they tell us is feasible.
Great. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I know we spoke last week, so I appreciate you giving me the update up until this point, as I'm the official liaison for this is one of the big ones. So I was looking forward to really sitting down and getting the update. It was very helpful for me, and I think we really, just the feasibility study needs to get kind of going before we kind of make any other decisions. I think that's the most important. I know it's kind of been rocky to try to get to that point, but we're doing it. And another thing that we discussed in our conversation was that is important is making sure we're getting the word out in conversations, because it might not be tomorrow that this goes up, it won't be, but making the public aware of everything that's going on is
Yeah, you yelled at me about making a website.
Yes, a Facebook page. Get the word out there. Just
TikTok.
to have.
TikTok.
Yeah,
Couple dance videos, and be all set.
Right. So just to have the discussion, because even if something doesn't go through, just make people aware of it, because we need to get people behind this, because we're not in the sexy stage anymore. We need to keep this going. So. That's all. Thank
You're
you
not
for
allowed to
coming
say
in.
that phrase again. we need, somebody asked ChatGPT what a better thing is to call that. That's not it.
No.
Yeah, okay. Like I said, I think you definitely have the support from this board, and I think from what I've seen so far, you guys are certainly heading in the right direction.
Can I ask one question, I guess? Once the committee decides the company that they want to go with for the feasibility study, and I bring it here, is that the process? I'm kind of a little ignorant to the full-on process of that. Once the committee decides the company to go with, do we bring it to you guys? Do we bring it to Charlie?
Well, eventually we'll go to the board.
Will eventually come to us,
approve
yeah.
the
Yeah, we'll
hire-
move it, but
for you
there'll
to
be a
hire them.
discussion, yeah. I mean, this is the step you're taking to tell us that is what you're looking for. So that's, the first step has been completed. Now it's to find out, who you'd want, what the funding would be looking like, what we have already set aside, if that has to be changed, reworded, or, but eventually I think it's certainly going to be more than $50,000. And yeah, at some point, we would have to certainly go to town meeting, I would imagine, to get some of those funds, depending on how much more.
Depends on what the
value
cost of
is.
the feasibility study is.
Right.
I mean, we may have to reword the article, as you all said.
Right.
To make sure that the project falls within the envelope, the verbiage of the article.
Yep.
And then we'll know how much money a firm would want from us
Right.
to do the work.
Yep, 100%, yeah, but, we can help you with the process, just phone call away.
Cool.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate you
Yeah,
coming in.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
coming in, AJ.
All right, well,
Where did we leave off?
number 9, I think, is where you're gonna start.
Did we, with number 8, did we vote on that, or did we not?
Yeah, we
vote?
did.
We did.
Well, so there's no vote to take. You're going to need an article at town meeting, and we
Okay.
put a placeholder already in the
Okay.
warrant for that.
I think that was interrupted, so I just didn't know okay.
John, that was on the dump trucks.
Oh, okay.
We're going to need the article at the town meeting in October.
Understood, right. It's, It's a new law?
Relatively young.
Okay. I make a notion to establish the dates for 2 fall special town meetings and the town election. Special town meeting.
As printed.
As printed.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Charlie, Rebecca, Lee, anything?
Other than the idea again is everything besides the central school goes on the meeting on October 27th. We'll get the word out, have everybody get something in if they need something in. That also gives us time to work with town council and the departments if we need to to flesh out all the article wording.
Yep.
And then obviously November 10th will just be the central school. And we already, the MSBA already provides the templates for that. You know, we'll have one article for the school, a motion, all that's by MSBA design, pretty much. And I've already sent that to Chris for review, and we'll get from there.
So the motion, the reason why we're having really the 2 meetings is because of this MSBA timeline. We wouldn't be able to have it earlier without their suggestion.
Yeah, we can't have it any earlier than what we have proposed right now, because we're aiming for a decision from them on October 29th.
Right, and now both of these, now just for reference to have us here, the special town meeting on October 27th, do we have that, where that location will be and anything like that?
It's over at the senior high school, the
Okay.
auditorium. That won't change.
Okay.
The only thing that's changing is where we're having the election. The election will be over
All the
at the middle
annual
school.
and special town meetings will still be at the high school.
Okay, so the special town meetings will still be at the high school, the town election will be the only thing that's moved. And has Katie, I know, has she been made aware of all of these changes? Okay, because I know that was one of the concerns at the get. And with the town election being on November 15th, we would have to send a mailer out for that, correct?
It won't be a mailer about that particular election. It will be a mailer simply saying that in the future, all town elections shall be held at the middle school.
Okay, so we'll be using it as an all-encompassing mailer opposed
Correct.
to just, okay.
And we don't have to connect it to November 15th. It can be sent out, for instance, next month as an example.
Okay.
And for the town election schedule, we don't have that, but the town clerk is scheduled to come to the September 8th meeting. So hopefully we'll have it, just to discuss other things. So hopefully we'll have it by then. So she can let you guys know that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion of the discussion of procedures to adopt the provisions of MGL 13833B.
Second.
This is for the possibility of the town allowing restaurants to serve alcohol before noon on Sundays. The town never accepted this statute. There's no record of it, so they can't serve before noon.
Right.
But for it to happen, town meeting has to approve it, so it'll be a town meeting article on October 27th. If the town meeting approves it, then the individual establishments can come before the board and say, we'd like to have an earlier start time for serving alcohol on Sundays.
Okay.
And that can be up as early as 10 o'clock.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I'm not
put it in front of the
I'm
body.
not having it at 10, I'm not having it at noon, somebody else can, I'm not.
Listen, Bloody Mary.
Little Baileys in your coffee?
Little Baileys, mimosa, you call it, you got it, whatever. Yeah, let's put it in front of the body. I mean, that's the smartest and best way to do it. All right, any further discussion?
None.
You don't need us to vote. No.
We'll have an article.
Oh, you want to have vote? Just, okay, put it on.
It's just to go to town meeting.
I make a motion, discussion and enforcement of the MBTA community zoning law.
And council is here, and if you notice in our agenda, we'll be going to executive session.
Lost it?
That's it?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Announcements, information,
I do not have any announcements.
anything? Lee? Nothing?
No.
And under my report, there are
Yep.
two things. The beautification committee, a couple months ago, we had received a letter from, I think, student over at the high school suggesting that the town create a beautification committee. A number of other communities have done that. I provide examples. I know that Carol was interested in the idea, so because she wasn't available, we kept moving this agenda item until all three of you were here. And I guess my question is, would you like us to put the word out, seeing if people would be interested?
Because I have seen people ask about it on social media, and if there are volunteers already willing to step up and run it, then why would we say no?
Right. I heard it, the letter was posted, I don't know, is the letter back in the
Yes, it's
Yeah,
right.
I read the
I was
email.
gonna say,
Yep.
yeah. And I was like, we gotta wait till Carol said it, because I know that was when I first started, that was one of the first things that you said, and I think in conversations, even with my department head conversations, it's been brought up, it's a way to, restore, kind of get the conversation started, especially having a student reach out, I think is great to have both of the school committee and us kind of maybe see if there's options for.
Yeah, and there's options to partner with groups like Kiwanis or the Lions that would support something like that
Exactly.
on a work day or whatever. They
Right.
just need somebody to say, hey, this is when we're doing it.
Right.
And then they'll show up.
Yeah.
You know?
So would that be like establishing a beautification committee and then, appointing people to that? Okay.
Great.
And, we can, the size of the committee, I'd say, you'd want at least 5 people, but maybe not a lot more than that. Depends on, it also depends on how many people want to volunteer.
And specifically the student, how old was the student? Because, do they have to be voting,
No.
a voting age to be on it?
No, any
Okay.
more than, as an example, we have out-of-town residents on some committees. They don't have to be a registered voter.
Yeah, because that's another thing with committees at the school. Key Club, for example, is a Kiwanis officiate, and they, I know, are always looking for projects to revitalize their downtown, so.
Okay.
Then the other was the priorities for calendar year 2025. Again, this had been bumped a few times. We had, at least once we had a long meeting, we said we're going to bump this, and then we haven't had a full board. What's interesting, I was going through that over it this afternoon. Of course, since I typed up the draft, things have moved along in some of these projects. Some of them actually have gotten done.
Look
Some
at
of them
that.
we're still in the middle of. But the idea was that the board had wanted to establish priorities. Even though we're closing in on 2/3 of the year done, it'd still be good to know what we should, what you'd want as emphasis for the next 5 or so months.
Who wants to start?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Looks like you're ready.
I guess one of the conversations, it's been amazing since I've started to really sit back and watch and kind of meet the different department heads around town, also the town employees, and just listen. And I think even when Dr. Williams here today, her saying, her role is doing a lot of listening in her first year, and I've been able to do that in even the past couple months, and I'm still planning on doing that. But really, I think it's maintaining this culture where we want to maintain people in town that want to stay here, and let's find ways to make sure that that's an initiative. I am going to quote, John Haynes, because I still think this is a great quote, but better yourself to better the department to better the town. And I can't tell you enough how many times in conversations with department heads, but also town employees, is that's something that is just really shown through in every single conversation. And folks that do want to stay here, the majority of them do. I really haven't talked to somebody that says, I don't want to be in East Bridgewater. They want to stay here. So I think maybe incentivizing and prioritizing our town employees, making them feel heard, even if we're disagreeing with them, right? And how do we do that? Let's come up with ideas together as leadership in this town, how we can best do that. Whether that's meetings with all of us and department heads or town employees, or a forum with public, town employees. But I feel like a lot of them are really, they want to stay here, and I think that we should make them feel, like that. And I think that's really one of the goals and a priority for me is finding out the best way to do that, and understanding the budgetary struggle that we're in, yes, but being able to find, creative ways to make sure we can maintain our employees here in town. That really, to me, is a big priority, because I think the culture here is so important, right? You want to walk into a town hall and feel a happy, inviting culture, so I just, that to me is a priority for my 2025 calendar year.
I think looking at this list, Charlie, a couple things. Obviously, the unions, we know we need to work on agreements with that, but that's kind of a gimme.
Ongoing. Yeah.
Expanding on the idea of the town website, and I think that this sort of ties in with what we were talking about with the school committee, of just like, how do we make residents informed and aware of the things that we're doing? So I think anything we can do to explore that, maybe, like, I know people can sign up on there to get information on meetings and, postings and agenda and all of that, but, maybe we need some sort of like newsletter quarterly or whatever, just to, if we could have a list, an email list, like a listserv in the old days.
Well, one of the things is we have the news and announcements section of the website,
Okay.
where just as people can sign up for agendas and minutes, they can sign up for news and announcements also.
And I think making, like, people aware that, like, that's how you find out about an upcoming town meeting,
Right.
or, that school committee has vacancies, or, just, I think we just need to focus on how we're reaching the people outside of our own choir, right? We're
Right.
very good at preaching to the choir, but it's harder to reach the people who don't come to church at all. Not to compare us to church, but I guess that would be, in the time we have left.
Right. Yeah, good points. So mine's been the same since I guess I got here. I mean, originally we talked about, when it was David, Carol, myself, positions, that needed to be filled, people that were leaving, people that probably needed to leave. I mean, there was a lot of things that we had to get through in order to put ourselves in a better position. And then we go to Catherine's point, we've done that. I mean, we've worked really hard to get, 6, 7 very important positions filled. And it was difficult, because sometimes we filled them and then found out we had to fill them again, things of that nature. So I feel like we've accomplished that set to get the core in here. Now, as far as priorities, and all these are good, and the ones that you guys talked about are definitely good, but, bottom line, we gotta make money. I mean, yeah, we've gotta find ways to make money. I mean, that's $60 million business, and, our expenses are going like this, and our revenues are just kind of flat, right? So, we've got things on the table. Obviously, me and John have spoke tremendous times about Route 18 and what we feel like is gonna happen down there, even to the point where, the smaller project that we had has now seen some growth. Cumberland Farms is finally knocking on the door, but these things take years. And I've said from the beginning, anything that we're doing today, the people that reap the benefits from that are probably 5, 6, 7 years down the road. So we take on some responsibilities of people in the past, and they maybe reap some of the benefits of the things that we do. But that being said, it's up to us and those other departments, as well as those committees, to really continue to look for ways to develop the town and grow the town. And unfortunately, the tough part of doing that is some people are going to like what those suggestions are, and some people are not going to like what they are. But the end of the day is you've got to, kind of draw your line in the sand and say, based on my reasoning and my thought process and the people that I've discussed it with, whether it be planning board or finances, if they're agreeing with you and they're putting the time in, then that's what we got to do. So, we've got some other projects, I think, coming forward. We've got other discussions that we'll be having, and we just got to continue to do that, because we all agree we want to keep the people that we have, and we want to continue to reward them for the job they're doing, but we can't do that without cash.
Right.
I mean, we need to give them, you can only, find creative ways, as we've been doing, to give them incentives, but at some point in some time, we're going to be outpriced, and if we don't, continue to push those. So to me, that is extremely important, to continue with these ideas and these projects and push them forward, so that we continue to do that. So, as like Peter just said a little while ago, that's my soapbox.
There you go.
Get up there.
Thank you.
That's it.
This is very good.
Yep.
Yes, that was Lee's work.
Lee, this is great.
We'll have this brochure up front. We'll have it in other places where we have.
I'll keep them and
meetings
hand them
or
out to people
whatever,
when I
yeah.
bump into them at the coffee shop and at Kiwanis and at whatever, like.
Check it
Yeah,
out,
having
check it
I
out.
love the QR code so that they can just get the information immediately to apply. That's terrific.
You know, this is great, even like, we can see if we can, the local coffee shops, right? But then, I don't know if another idea, but maybe like, even like lunchrooms at the cafeteria if you want to connect with students that should be involved, especially now that we've had some reach out to us too. You know, I know that's been really a conversation that we've had, is kind of getting the younger generation in here, and they may grab it, put it in their lunchbox and bring it home, and their parent might open it,
Right.
you know? So, maybe see if we can get some of these to Dr. Williams,
Sure.
because I know that was another question we had the other day.
Great. Anything else, Charlie?
Not at this point, we'll go in executive session.
Yeah, well, first, a board discussion. Anyone, Carrie, have anything? We're good? We talked quite a bit about
Yep.
things we do. Good?
Good.
Okay. All right, so,
Get your script.
I got my script, my cheat sheet, whatever the hell you want to call it, right? And here we go. All right, so I move that the Bridgewater Select Board go into executive session for the following reasons. Pursuant to MGL Chapter 30A, Section 21A3, to discuss strategy with respect to litigation, as an open meeting may have detrimental effect on the litigation position of the Select Board in the following litigation: MBTA community zoning. If discussing this matter in open session will have a detrimental effect on the town's litigation position, and the chair so declares. And that the Select Board will not reconvene in open session at the end of the executive session. I need a second from one of you guys.
Second.
Okay, any discussion regarding that?
Peter, you're confirming that in fact it would have a detrimental effect.
Absolutely, yep, said that, yep. All right, second's been made. I declare the open meeting, well, we're gonna discuss, there's no discussion, right? I declare that they have an open to collective bargaining. Litigation may have detrimental effect on the bargaining or the litigation position of the Select Board. Any other discussion? I'll ask for, seeing none, I'll ask for roll call. I, Peter Spagone.
Hi, Carol Julius.
Hi, Catherine Mullen.
That should be it, done. Good night.